Yeah.
Recording in progress. Welcome to episode 2 of the Rise of Odyssey podcast. I'm your host, Danny, with my co host, Haley. And today we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, right?
Stuff. Yeah. Whatever comes
Yeah.
to mind.
Yeah, whatever comes to mind. No, everything from our regular fear factor to talking about the book that you just finished and finishing up with our main topic, which is going to be escaping the comfort zone. That sound about right for your agenda?
Yeah, something about the comfort zone is our topic
Okay, cool. Glad we agree.
for
um,
once.
yeah, for once. So,
So,
fear factor.
yeah, the fear factor. Yeah, so this week you went on your first big boy trip for your job. And I know we talked about that was kind of, I don't know, scary, kind of sort of intimidating, I guess, because you've never traveled to entertain important clients. So, you want to tell us a little bit about that experience and why we decided to highlight it as our fear factor this week?
Yeah, I think fear factor is all about just, well, our main topic, getting out of your comfort zone. And I would
I
say
knew
that
that was coming.
yeah,
I knew
well,
it.
you set me up for it. Um, yeah, that was that entire trip in a nutshell was getting out of my comfort zone. I have not had to entertain clients ever in my career in person. So that was a very interesting experience. You also tend to get a ton of imposter syndrome when it's just you and a bunch of C-level executives and a bunch of very important C-suite people. And you're just kind of sitting there like, how did I get into this boardroom? So, yeah, it was all good things though. I would say I learned quite a bit. Wasn't that scary when you got down to it? But everybody's just people. You could have any title next to your name, but everybody's
Did,
just a person.
did you feel like a little anxious at first, like before getting there and overthinking it a little?
Yeah, I would say I just had no idea what to expect. So, I was making sure that I
Mhm.
had the right backpack and, I took our mutual friend shopping to make sure that, I was all prepared for my big boy trip. But like nobody notices anything. I didn't even bring
Mhm.
my computer to all the meetings. I just sat there because I was like, what am I going to do? Take notes? I'm better at, taking notes in my head and then putting them on my phone anyway. So I didn't even bring my computer. So I was like, I'm just going to
Nice.
be fully present in this moment and just learn. And that's what I did.
What was your favorite part?
Probably dinner. Probably the dinner.
Mhm. Was it just more chill, less formal, get to know each other?
I would say it really opened my eyes that people are just people, even when they're clients of yours. Like everybody has their own unique experiences. Everybody talks about their own unique lives. Everybody has their own unique problems and everybody has their own unique everything, solutions, all
So,
that.
so even though they had fancy titles or they've been in these roles or higher ups or clients, etc., they're just people.
Yep.
You build
Everybody's just a person.
relationships. Yeah. So then you kind of your nerves calmed once you're in the scenario with them and just kind of let your coworker take the lead that traveled with you and go along with it.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say at dinner, I kind of held my own. I was mainly talking to one of the clients myself. Uh, and we got to know each other pretty well because of that, and it was a good opportunity to do so. But yeah, people are just people. That was my main takeaway from the whole trip, and not to just be too worried. We're always our own worst critics, I feel like.
Mhm.
So
I agree.
that was that
Good.
was a good eye-opening experience that you can indeed do whatever you want to do in life. Sometimes you might just feel like you're the imposter in the room, but you're probably there
Mhm.
for a reason.
You still did it.
Still did it. Came out alive.
Still,
I'm here.
still have your job.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't say anything too stupid. So
That's good.
that's good.
Well, awesome. I'm sure there'll be more trips. So one
Yeah,
done.
yeah, one coming up in like 4 weeks. But yeah,
Nice.
Mind Shift is the book you finished, huh?
Yeah. So Mind Shift by Erwin McManus. It was a great book. It was a quick read. Probably don't quote me on this. 160 pages.
I was
There
gonna
was
say
12. Huh?
You read these books so fast. I feel like every other episode, you're like, I finished this book. I finished this book. And I'm like, I still got another 100 pages or so.
Okay, so this one was shorter. I will give you that. It had 12 mind shifts total in the book. And so it probably did take me, what, 14 days to finish it with the intro included.
Okay.
They're quick chapters. So I read about a chapter per day, took notes, journaled a little bit. But basically, it's very well written, very like down to earth. He seems like a very wise individual. His podcast is Mind Shift as well. I believe it's with his son,
Makes sense.
and he he helps leaders become exceptional leaders because we can get in our own heads and the business aspect of it, imposter syndrome. He talks about all of that stuff in the book. I would say the main takeaways I got from the book was that it comes down to people, relationships with people. What you were just talking about with your job and how people are people, well, that's what matters. You network, connect with them, because in the end, what do you have if you don't have people?
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. How important are relationships to you?
Very important. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know about talking to myself in a video would be my favorite thing. Maybe one day I'll get there, but um, people in my life have definitely made a difference, and I hope I've done the same for them. It's kind of a give and take kind of thing in my book. I give a little, they give a little. You know, it's an art.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Friendship and relationships are an art. Uh, but yeah, the second thing I would say is he definitely talks about how we can be our own worst enemy. That's how I'm going to summarize that throughout the whole Mind Shift book. That we're our own ceiling. Whatever we believe will be true. He does talk about a lot of that stuff that you and I have already been talking about on the channel, or we have talked about it in private, different books we've been reading. So it all kind of tied it together, which was really great.
Hmm, that's kind of nice.
I'd recommend it. It's a quick read. He does go a little bit into like faith, religion. He is Christian, but he says, it doesn't really matter to him as long as you have something you believe in. He does think that you need that foundation. So you could just take those parts and put them aside and learn the other aspects in it. But overall, I would look into Erwin McManus, and if you like what you see, then check out his book.
Yeah, we'll pop a link in the description for it. I think it's a good read, even though I haven't read it yet, just from your opinion. Usually, when you tell people to read a book, it's decent. Scarcity Brain was a good example of that. So,
Yeah. Like I guess one of the chapters that stuck out just to talk about it because it might relate to what we're doing is the
mhm.
audience will follow you. You don't seek them out. What you're doing is for you, but at the same time, if other people feel in tune to your message, then they will seek you and find you and will be there. So you might start out talking to no one, and in time, if you believe in your message and who you are and what you're doing is your calling, they will find you.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I've seen a ton of creators pull that off on this platform, right? Like, I don't think we have much cross-pollination with, an Alex Hormozy, a Caleb Hammer, a Hamza, but I watch those guys like Hamza at 10,000 subs. He's at like 2.4 million now. Caleb Hammer is at was like at 15, 20,000 when I found him. He's at over a million. Shout out to him. He just crossed a million.
Dang.
Hermosi, I found him when he was at like probably 50, 60,000, and he's at over a few million now, I think, or a little over a million. And I remember distinctly because I added all of them on LinkedIn as soon as I found them because I knew that they were going to be successful. And there's just something about that where if you keep putting out good content that you believe in, the audience will find you. I agree with that.
Right. Yeah. So overall, recommend the book.
That's good. Want to talk about escaping the comfort zone?
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, what do you want to call it?
Ex-
I like calling it that.
expanding your comfort zone, escaping your comfort zone. I mean, either one works. They're both E's.
Elephant your comfort zone, whatever you want to call it.
How many E words can we come up with?
That'd be a whole episode. But yeah, expanding your comfort zone, escaping it. What do you think? You had to do that,
Oh,
didn't you?
you're gonna put me right in the spotlight here. All right.
Usually.
Well, I mean, I think we picked this topic because it's the only way we can grow, right? If you don't go outside your comfort zone, you're gonna kind of stop growing, get stagnant, become stuck. Would you agree?
Yes, I would. I would say also it major life transitions. Escaping the comfort zone is pretty important. If you've been in the same city for too long, like your hometown, or if you've been in the same job for too long, or if you've been in the same something for too long, I think that's also a good example of escaping that comfort zone because that's that stagnation that you end up becoming.
Well, it becomes a comfort and a safe place, and if you don't find ways to branch out, it is what it is. You just exist in it.
Hmm.
Another E word, exist.
There you go. There you go. That's five, four, five.
We've lost count.
Yeah.
But yeah, so comfort zone. I grew up in a small town, then went to college, and that was scary. I didn't know what to expect. I'd been in this little town and, very dependent on friends, family to kind of help raise me. And you venture out to this large campus. If you can see my sweatshirt, you'll know where. But I guess that was huge. There's classes of hundreds of people. There's so many people that you can get to know, and you're on your own. You have to keep track of your schedule, be accountable for yourself. Mom and dad aren't calling you up in the morning or, hey, your alarm's going off. It's time to go to school, you know? So you had to choose to go to class, do what you're supposed to, meet friends, make pretty good choices, and and just learn to become an adult. And that is very much getting out of your comfort zone as a young adult.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I didn't have the college experience that you did, though, as we've kind of, loosely covered beforehand. But
Mhm.
I had my college experience between the ages of 16 and 18, just not in college. And during my junior and senior year of high school because I had a car and I could drive to the city of Chicago. So I had my own experience there and made great choices. But no, when I graduated high school early, for those who don't know, about a semester early. And I'd actually planned to go to UIC, University of Illinois at Chicago, because I'd gotten in. And that was not a school I really wanted to go to, but it was a safe choice because I knew I'd get in. And then when my friend had told me, hey, why don't we just graduate early? We have the credits and we don't like being here anyway because all we do is make trouble. I said, yeah, you're probably right. Maybe we'll get out of here early and work. Uh, so I did that. And then I also went to community college because it was very easy to get in. They take everybody. So I got in there and found out that because our family was very low income, that I would actually make money to go to college. And you tell a 18-year-old Danny that he could make money going to school, he's going to take you up on that. So I got paid 2 grand after tuition per semester to go to class. And so that was the incentive I needed. So I took 3 years to get out of community college instead of the normal two because I kept getting paid for it. Um, but yeah, I didn't have the traditional college experience. Like all the classes I had maybe 20 kids. Do you actually have like hundreds of kids in class?
Mhm. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, they
crazy.
have large classrooms. I mean, some don't get me wrong, some of my classes were 20 people, labs were smaller, but yeah, there were classes where you had probably 100 kids in that classroom.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's wild. Even the university I went to, we had maybe 20 kids per class.
Yeah, because
Because
my graduating class in high school was 90, like a 2A school.
we were 5A. We had maybe 300. So yeah, you went to a smaller school than I did for high school.
So we
But
like flip flopped.
Yeah, yeah, we did. But I mean,
Yeah.
300 was really small, like in the Chicago suburbs. Like the school down the street had, I think, 1,000 kids in their graduating class, 1,200. So we were a small school in a small suburb, but yeah, just down the street, 1,000 kids per graduating
I mean,
class.
I was in like a farm town. That's what we'll call that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So dad's a farmer, and so there you are. But speaking of driving, I guess that would be another time that we had to get out of our comfort zones, right? And trust ourselves to not get in an accident or hurt other people.
I mean, I've always liked driving. I know you don't.
No, I don't.
I've
I had
never had a
until
problem.
until this year again. I hadn't had to drive in.
And how long?
Okay, I think 9 years, 8 years.
I was surprised you knew how to do it.
Oh yeah,
Genuinely.
it came back to me. Oh, it's like riding a bike. I was good. I just don't like it. I don't know. I don't like other people around me. I don't know what they're gonna do. So that's where it's definitely out of my comfort zone because you have to trust others on the road. Not so much myself. I'm fine with that. I know the basics.
Well, yeah, I'd hope so. But I
Yellow
mean,
light, red light, stop sign. You know the stuff you need to know.
I've always joked with you about that. I've known you for what, 3, 4 years, and I've seen you drive me precisely one time. One time. And that was just this year. Before that, I didn't think it was possible. It was always that joke that you were like, oh, I drove. I'm like, I've never seen you drive.
Yeah, if
So
I could walk to work and walk to places downtown, I definitely would prefer that.
that should be another episode someday. The whole schematics of walking and driving. But no, going back to comfort zones, like, yes,
Oh yeah, that's where we were.
that's
Hold
where
on,
we were.
gotta get my half gallon here for 75 hard.
Yeah, go for it. Quick plug there. Uh, but yeah, I would say that driving, it was very different for me too. Like when I first started, because it was something I always wanted to do and always liked doing. The first time I ever drove was on my dad's lap
You
at
froze.
5. I can hear you still. Did I freeze? How's that?
What's going on?
What we
Oh,
miss?
there you are. Hi, welcome
Hello.
back. I don't know
What's
what just happened, but I was trying to take a drink of my water here, and then you froze, and then it like, that's what it sounded like, and now you're back.
Oh, well, I kept going. So,
That's good. Someone's internet had a malfunction. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to the show. This is our Monday. Let me tell you, it's been a journey. So let's whatever you just said, and it went 100 miles per hour like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Would you like to fill me in?
yes, yes. I was talking about, and it'll probably be twice because the recording's on my end, but that's fine. Um, I was talking about how driving still gets us out of our comfort zones. And it wasn't that big of a deal for me because like I was on my dad's lap at 5 years old learning how to drive and steer the car. It's always something I've wanted to do. So it wasn't like scary. The test was scary because I've always wanted my license. And so that was a bit scary for me. Um, they had a guy learning. So there was two instructors during my driving test, and it was February in Chicagoland. So there was snow everywhere. So that was fun. Uh, I hit a curb during the test, but because it was snow everywhere, nobody noticed. Did you get that?
Yep. There's
Okay.
snow on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you get
I
the part
got you.
where I hit the
You're
curb
catch.
during the test?
No,
Yeah, I think it froze
now I
again.
do.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I hit a curb during the test, but there was snow on the ground, so they didn't notice. Anyway, they were like, make a 3-point turn. And I
Okay.
said, I don't know how to do that. And he's like, oh, just go this way, go back and go back. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. I just did it real quick. I'm like, I don't know what it's called, but I can drive. I ended up getting my license. Thank God. That was, dang. That was 11 years ago for anybody who wants to date my age. That's crazy. It's been a long time.
Yeah, so my driving stories, yeah. So not to throw my dad under the bus either, but gravel roads, he kind of let us take the steering wheel, a little bit here and there while listening to cassette tapes of country, usually George Strait, good times. And then I had a ATV, like a little four wheeler, I guess I'd call it that. Drove that around, ran it into a tree once. Um, wouldn't recommend it. Everyone was fine. It was all fine. And then we had a mower for the farm that it wasn't a steering wheel. It was like the separate bars like this. So it
Oh,
was
yeah.
like a quick turn.
Mhm.
And so you could sit there and be cool and like separate it with your thumb and stuff. One time I ran into the swing set with that. Other than that, I was great. uh, I've never had an accident in a car that was my fault. Well, one time. Yeah, one time.
What'd you do?
Well, it was early in the morning, and I think the light had just turned green, and I wasn't paying attention enough, and so I kind of ran into the person in front of me because
That's
they
fair.
hadn't started up in the green light. It's one of those things, but it was okay. It was a minor little bump.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. I've
Yeah,
only
but as far
totaled
as
one car.
did you
Only
shoot?
one. It wasn't my fault though.
Mm.
I was going straight at 45 miles per hour through a green light, and this nice old man decided to run up a median and make a left turn into the gas station. And I was just like, there's no way he's going to keep going. He sees me going 45 miles per hour through the light. No, he continued and went faster as I was going, tried to get over the median in time, T-boned me, and I had three options. There was a tree in front of me, there was an electrical box, and there was a sign, like a speed limit sign. So I took out the speed limit sign. Luckily, I had the control and wherewithal to know where I was going. And I was just like, this way, and just smashed into the sign and took out half the car. Um, Luckily, there was a
Oh,
sheriff at the gas station who watched the entire thing happen and yeah, gave the nice old man a ticket. Everybody asked me if I was okay. I felt fine. It was the I was more worried about the car because I crashed my mom's new car. But here we are.
I had to. I technically didn't pass the driving part of driver's ed, so I had to do that at the DOT with the like driving instructor, and as in my mom's huge like Chevy truck. That was an experience. Parallel parking did not happen, but I passed on my first try. It was great. It was like a giant ass truck, and oh yeah, and of course in driver's ed they have you drive cars because why
Mhm.
would they have you drive anything bigger than a little? I don't even remember what it was. What are the cars nowadays that you see the street smart cars or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, well, in Chicago, they're usually Corollas.
Okay,
Yeah, they're like Civics or our drivers that actually had vans at my high school.
what?
Yeah, so we learned how to drive in a big Chrysler minivan.
They actually teach you for anything.
Yeah, yeah, they really prepared you. I did that my summer of freshman year because everybody else went to private school for driving school,
Mm.
but we had summer school if you wanted at high school. So I used to walk. It was like 2.5 miles each way, and that's how I did driver's ed. It was fun.
But yeah, I would say all of that is related to our topic of expanding, or what did you say?
Escaping
Escaping
your
your
comfort zone.
comfort. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
escaping accidents. Don't run into the playset or the apple tree. Uh, yes. But why would you think that all of this we've talked about, driving, experiences we've had, would take us out of our comfort zone? Because you feel we've learned a lot about that, huh? What not to
I
do.
think we have. Just to put me back on the spotlight, that's fine. No, I think that 100% it helped us just become better people. Like think about it. If you never rear-ended that poor lady on her while you were on your phone, like, just kidding. You would
I
never
was
have.
not on my I was not on my phone because that was before we had really smartphones.
Oh man, you're texting on a Motorola Razr? No, I'm just kidding. Um,
It may have been, honestly. I don't remember at that time. Let's move on.
but yeah, no, I think that you learning, to drive and getting out and doing that, and then me, actually, we didn't even talk about moving here, but escaping just my hometown was big for me, or even going to college, because there was a there was a part there that I didn't think I was gonna go to college, and so it was a big part, like applying for my own FAFSA and doing all the government paperwork, like my mom, bless her, like she doesn't speak the best of English. Like there's no way she could have gotten that paperwork done. So it was just me sitting there in the financial aid office going, I think this is right. I don't know. I'm 18. Uh, I think this is how much my mom makes. We'll find out. But
Right. The crazy things we have to do and figure out on our own or with some resources of people or whoever.
yeah, so I was just like, all right. But yeah, I would say college 100% was escaping the comfort zone. Going to university for me was also that same thing. That was even more so because I had to start catching the red line, and anybody in the Chicagoland area will know how dangerous the red line is. It is not a fun place. It is a scary place to be. But that experience every day was a joy of escaping my comfort zone. You see some things. Uh, there was a lady giving birth once. There was always guys smoking blunts. There was just the most interesting characters you would see on the Chicago public transportation. Uh, so I would usually just have an AirPod in and talk to myself, kind of what this looks like. So because people thought, oh, he's probably crazy if he's talking to himself, because I used to put my hood up and then I'd, call one of my friends and then just they'd be like, oh, he's crazy. We don't want to mess with him. And that ended up working. So that was also escaping your comfort zone.
Right. And like for me, speaking of transportation, walking at like 5 a.m. in the morning when it's pitch dark out, people thought I was crazy. But, I kind of did the same things you did. I would have my headphones in or just one in and be aware of my surroundings. But I rarely had any issues in the mornings. It was actually after work where I'd have people ask me if I had a cigarette or some money for food or just random people out and about in the middle of the day. They never did anything to me or harmed me, but that was definitely uncomfortable when they approach you and you're like, yeah, nope, don't have a cigarette. Nope, don't carry any cash on me. Like, that's definitely experience that I'd never had until I started walking around to work downtown Des Moines.
Yeah. I will say one time I had an adventure with a homeless man because I felt bad and I had, a little bit of the day to kill. So he asked me to give him 20 bucks and I was like, no, but I'll buy you a train ticket. And he's like, I was like, what are you going to use the money for? He's like, well, a train ticket and food. I'm like, all right, well, I'll buy you the train ticket and the food and we'll just go hang out for like a couple hours. And so we had lunch together. I learned a little bit about his life and I sent him on his way, gave him an unlimited train ticket for that day. And
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
like 6, 7 years ago. But yeah. And then I saw him like running around the city probably like 2, 3 years later, and I was like, oh, he's still homeless. That's sad.
Yep. But you made his day that day.
I did. Yeah. And tried.
What would you say uh, most recently? When did you get out of your comfort zone other than your work trip?
Hmm. 75 hard.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
unless you had another option for me that you were thinking of.
Oh, this weekend playing duck pin bowling.
Ah, yes, that was fun.
You were great.
I was great. And then you kind of made me overthink with my form. I was doing fantastic, actually, before you told me that I wasn't.
Okay, so I don't think we've ever talked about this, but you may correct me. I was in bowling league for I think I started almost elementary or middle school and went up to high school with bowling league. I had it every single weekday, like or once a week. I had bowling league, and then we would like go to state and tournaments on occasion. So that's why I was like, you were stepping with the wrong foot.
Oh, that makes so much more sense. I learned something new about you every day.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I did not know you were in
bowling.
bowling league. That's cool.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
but you have to admit, I did better stepping with the wrong foot than I did with the right foot.
I don't know how, but I can't deny it.
So I went with the form that I knew how to do.
I think we need to go actual bowling because duck pin bowling, in case anyone doesn't know, it's like giant ski balls, right?
Mhm.
Like you just hold it and then it
And
looked
it's like
like a
shot put.
bowling lane, but you don't do the full stepping. You just like step once and toss.
Hmm.
And then the pins are on strings. I don't know how I feel about it, but it was fine.
It was an experience for sure. I have a weird relationship with bowling. I didn't really
Mm,
respect the sport for a while, and there's a time that one of my friends in community college actually, so this sort of relates, was friends with this guy who I didn't like very much, but he was like a champion bowler, right? And I was like, oh, bowling is nothing. Like bowling's stupid. Anybody can bowl, right? So I'm talking all
mhm.
this smack to this guy. And our mutual friend sets up a time for us to go bowling together. The three of us, me, this guy I don't like, who's a champion bowler, and this guy wipes the dust off of me. I think he got like a perfect game dang near. Like, yeah. And I'm just sitting there like,
Gutter,
yep.
gutter.
I put the bumpers up after the first like three or four because I was just like, all right, well, if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose with a little bit of dignity.
One
But
pin.
that
Oh,
kid did
heck.
say that he did appreciate me for actually showing up. So that was good.
Good.
But yeah, that
Awesome.
was the bowling experience.
That was the bowling experience. Good. We should try some more things like that. Remember our first disc golf adventure?
Yeah, yeah. Took a while to
Yeah.
figure that one out.
And then you're sore for like 5 days later.
I really was. You don't realize it takes so much out of you. Just actually throwing the thing.
It's just the one arm throbbing for the next 5 days. Yeah.
Seriously, you had to switch like halfway through so you get equal muscle usage. Uh,
The Danny method is one disc for the whole game.
yeah, pretty much.
Who putts? I know you're looking forward to Top Golf. I'm not. That's another whole topic. That's out of my comfort zone. I swing a bat this way and not a golf club. I don't do golf.
I think you'd like it if you tried it more.
I've tried
I
it.
know. But like even more.
I still don't like it.
I don't
I'll get
know.
out of my comfort zone. It's fine, Danny.
There you
It's
go. You
fine.
can get out of your comfort zone. I've always had a great time golfing or top golf or but you have to bring the right people with you. I think that's what matters the most. And sometimes it's not
Yeah,
about the golfing, it's about the company.
if they're
So,
terrible, but for some reason, the person I go with knows how to golf. So they can hit it in like the far nets, like the brown and whatever colors out there. And here I am just trying to hit the yellow or whatever the next color is. Not the blue one. I think the blue one's out there ways.
yeah. I think it's also
Yeah,
you got to be okay with not winning at everything. That's a different topic.
I
Escaping
at
your
least,
competition.
Danny, I at least want a competitive. If there is no competitive aspect, what is the point?
I guess that's fair. I don't even think we have
But
time
yeah,
for a soapbox today. That's sad.
oh, we did that last week too.
Yeah. Well,
That's okay. We could save it for next week.
yeah. To give you guys a little background, it's going to be Ozempic. But anyway, that
Will it?
is,
We'll see. It could change.
it could change. I don't like drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. That's a topic for next week, though. Hopefully, if we make it that far.
Right? We're doing great right now. Let's just keep going. But overall, I would challenge people to keep getting out of their comfort zone. Don't get too complacent. comfortable in what you're doing, and try something new. Try something different. Scary shit.
Yeah. You'll never know unless you try, right?
Exactly. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't, like Topgolf. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you not like? Name something. Ready, go.
Pharmaceutical drugs.
No. Oh, am I serious?
The fall of the empire, our crippling political system.
Country music?
I like country. I actually really like country music.
Oh,
Call me
dang. I
crazy.
thought I was going to get you. All right, let's wrap this
Metal.
up.
Metal. That's what we'll finish with. All right. This has been episode 2 of the Rise Up Odyssey podcast. I'm your host with my co-host Haley. Good night.
Till next week.
Till next week.